we live? I believe we are live. I think everybody always is like unsure whenever they go live. It's like, is this happening? Hello, this is Tea with Ke, and I'm just going to give a few minutes in case anybody wants to join, and for everybody that's joining me after this is being recorded, hi. It's good for you to see me, I guess, because I can't see you. It's good to see you. And I'm just going to see if I can do a little something. Little technical stuff while we are waiting to see how many people will join. This is Tea with Ke. This is the second episode. And let's see. Sorry, I'm talking while I'm doing technical things while we're getting started here. So this is Tea with Ke, Industry Insight with myself, Joanna Ke. I'm a professional scriptreader, writer, actor, and producer. Oh, I think somebody joined, but I can't see who it is. I can't see who you are. Can you say hi? I can't, for some reason I'm not able to see who joined. And just remember that since it's Facebook Live, there's like a 20 or 30 second delay. So if you ask me a question and I don't get to you right away, just know that I will see it. So welcome to this episode. Today we're going to talk about 5 things that helped my film be a success. If you have followed my Facebook or social media or anything for me in the past year, you know that I've been working on a project called Protectress, and it's a fantasy action film. So that's what I'm going to cover today, because it's so fresh on my mind. And, but just to get things started, I just wanted to kind of update you on like what I'm doing. First of all, I'm super happy to be with you. I am so tired. I got, the tea I'm drinking today is, it's basically like my emergency tea whenever I'm feeling super tired. It's called guayusa. Has anybody heard of guayusa before? And I don't know if I'm saying it right. Anyway, this is the one I'm drinking today. Can you see that? Runa Clean Energy Guayusa. Now I have a couple different guayusas that I drink, but it's specifically different brands that I drink. But it's specifically you look for the guayusa because it helps. It's like, well, actually it says right here, it's called clean energy because that's what it feels like. It feels like you don't feel like hyped up like when you drink coffee or something. It feels, I don't know, it's hard to describe because I haven't felt it with anything else, which is why I drink it. It's like, feels clean and you feel energized. So clean energy is the best way to describe it. So I've been up reading many scripts. Con is coming up, and so whenever there's a major film market, I always get a lot more scripts to read because I read for different companies or sales agents that are going to the film markets, and so when they go there, they go with coverages because nobody has time to read a script obviously at a film market, and so I've read a lot of scripts this week, and I'm just tired, and so it's a nice break. Oh, hi Brandon, it's nice to see you. It's just a nice break to be here with you and just to not be, looking at Courier New font and typing things right now. So anyway, that's what I've been doing. And I also, my film was just at the Artemis Women in Action Film Festival. It's called Protectress, which I was just talking about. That was a lot of fun. We had 2 screenings over the weekend. And they went really well. It was so inspiring to be in this room full of people that are just so focused on female empowerment, and there's a difference between people that are focused on it and people that are focused on it and taking action on that. So that was just very inspiring. And my friend's film, Jamie and Amy, they had their film, Trials of Ember, that was there as well, in the same block as mine, which is really cool. So that was a lot of fun. And then I've just been working on also launching my How to Write Female Characters online course, which I'm super excited that will be launching in a few months. I really can't wait to share it with you. And if anybody's interested in that, then you can go to I'll just type it in the comments if you're interested. Did I spell it right? There we go. You can go to femalecharacters.com, and then there's you can sign up if you want to get notified when that goes live. But so that's what I've been up to. And I also saw Avengers Infinity War. Did anybody who's watching this see it yet? Do not have any spoilers. I know you won't, but I just have to say it because I hate spoilers. Did anybody see it that's watching right now? Brandon, did you see it yet? I know I have to wait like 30 seconds because of the delay. It's... that film... And nothing will prepare you. Nothing will prepare you. Ugh. What did you think, Brandon? Was it... Yeah. I thought it was great, and it's just... I couldn't move afterwards. I was like, I didn't know how people were getting up. I was just like, what just happened? I was just like, oh. And I hate that we have to wait so long, but they really set it up for whatever's going to come next. Like, holy crap. Yes. Yeah. It definitely surprised. Brandon said it surprised him for a Marvel film. Yes. I completely agree. It's so hard to talk about it and not give anything away. But it is so much better if you don't have any spoilers. It's always better without spoilers. But it's also really fun. I've been looking up different memes. That memes that don't give away the movie, don't give spoilers, but they, kind of show what happens in the movie, and those are really fun. So anyways, oh gosh, yes, Thanos was amazing. Like, that was a great antagonist. They set that up so well. I'm just like, the writing and everything, like the thought that went into that. I really, really want to hear how the writers and the directors worked together on each of the films to get to this point and how they're, going to progress, because they've done such an amazing job. Now I'm thinking about it, and I'm traumatized again. And I need caffeine. Is anybody else drinking tea or coffee? If you are, let me know. Tell me what you like to drink. I've got my guayusa, like I said. My guayusa that is perking up. And this is one of my favorite mugs. It's like as big as my face, because I like big mugs. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the topic for today, which I'm really excited to talk to you about, and I really hope that it helps. So, like I said, I'm in the middle of a festival run for my latest project, which is called Protectress. I'll just type it, see if I can type it in here. So if you want to check it out, you can go check it out. So protectressfilm.com is the website, so if you want to go there, you can see the trailer and all that good stuff. So today's topic is 5 things that helped my film be a success. I'm having a really fantastic run. It's kind of mind-blowing, I guess, in a certain way, or surprising. I don't know what the right word is, but basically it's doing really well. We've already won several awards. We've won Best Fantasy. We've won Best Action. I won Inspiring Woman in a Film Award. I was just at World Fest, which is Houston's largest film festival, and we won, it's called a Remy, that's what they call their awards. It's kind of like, an Emmy or whatever, but they're called a Remy. We won a gold Remy there, which I just was so surprised because I didn't expect to receive it when I went there and saw the film. So my film is being very well received. It's having a lot of success, and it's because... And I'm really happy to say this, it was very well made. And there's certain things that I did that I know helped that to happen and helped my film be a success. Nobody can ever predict how your film is going to do on a film circuit or be received by audiences. It can be about timing, it can be about film festivals, like who sees it, whatever. There's all kinds of different things that can go into it. But there's definitely certain things that I did that helped my film be successful. And successful, that I think that as filmmakers, we have to define what that means for ourselves. I don't think, and actually, I wasn't even going to talk about this, but I'll just go ahead and say it. One of the things that helped my film be a success had to do with my own perception of what success was. I don't consider my film a success necessarily because I won awards. That was something that I intended, because who doesn't want to win an award, honestly? But, I was really focused on the process and the product. As far as, how many people were going to see it, who I was going to get to watch it, where I was going to be able to get it into festivals or whatever, all of that is completely out of your control. You can't control those things. And so for me, my success was defined by the product that I made. If I was proud of it and I loved it, and I do love it, I love watching my own film. If you don't love watching your own film, maybe you shouldn't be making it. But that actually leads into my first thing that I wanted to talk about, of what made my film a success, what helped it be a success. So the first thing is passion. Hi, Stephanie! Hi! Oh, Stephanie, it's so funny. Is that your picture? I think you're holding like a mug, like me. Yay! So the first thing I'm talking about, the first thing is passion. And so, like I said, if you don't like watching your own film, why would anybody else enjoy watching your film? Like, how can you expect that? I love my film. I love the story. I did something that I was passionate about. And that is what helped it be a success. There's somebody that I'm going to quote, not what do you call it, exact words, but I got some advice early on. I had made a few small projects, and I was moving into doing some bigger things, and I got some advice from a fantastic person, beautiful soul, amazing, creative filmmaker. Her name is Jen Page, and I should tag her. I should probably tag her in here. I don't know if I can tag her in. Can I tag people here? Jen Page? I don't know if I can. I'll figure it out. I'm still figuring out the technical stuff with this, so we'll figure it out as we go. So Jen Page gave me some advice, and she told me not to work on something just to do something. Not just to say, that I did it, because she said you're going to spend the same amount of time and energy and money no matter what you do. Either it's going to be a project that you like and you're passionate about and you love, or it's going to be a project that maybe you just, we're just going to get together on the weekend and we're going to throw something together, but you're going to spend the same amount of time. The same amount of time is going to pass. Same energy is going to be put into the project. So why not do something that you're passionate about? And I have to say, that was some of the best advice, and thank you, Jen, for that. And I'm so grateful that I received it before I made more projects, before I did something that was as ambitious as Protectress, because it helped me through the entire thing. It helped me hold a certain vision for the message I wanted to get across, for the things that I wanted to do with it. Like in my film, I learned sword fighting and stunts because I wanted to. And that was, I love Xena. My film was inspired by Xena. I love female empowerment. I was inspired by, as a script reader, reading terrible roles that were written for women, and wanted to create something, wanted to, be the change I want to see in the world. I wanted to do something about the crap that I was seeing. And so that helped fuel me, and I was really passionate about it. And so that piece of it, that passion, it was like a rocket. It's the fuel that you go off of whenever you are working through the project, because you will encounter problems. You will. That is just a given. And if you don't care about what you're doing on some level, if you don't feel it in your heart, why are you even going to bother to spend your time working through a problem if it's I don't even really care about this anyways? it pushes you, it drives you, and people feel it. People feel it. I think you can feel it in my film. I feel it in my film because I know it's there. But it's, you know, all of the energy that you put behind a project, people feel on the other end of it. So that's another piece. That's the first piece of advice. Oh, and for anybody that is watching this, either, you know, if you guys are here right now, or if you're watching this afterwards, you know, feel free, you know, just, you know, if you have a question or you have a comment. And Stephanie agrees. Yay, yes. Stephanie was my associate producer and assistant director on Protectress, and she's gone on to do her own projects and things, and actually that's a really good segue into my second thing that helped my film be a success, which was that I hired a great team. I put together a great team. I mean, filmmaking is a team sport. You cannot do it alone, and if you try to do it alone, you will end up with a subpar product. That's just the way it is. And also, if you don't hire the right people to be around you, it's going to be more difficult. I'm going to talk about Stephanie because she's here, and I was going to talk about you anyway, so I'm glad that you're here. So when I was doing my project, I wrote and I produced and I directed my film, Protectress. And I was not sure who I needed. I wasn't sure, you know, what I needed. It was the most ambitious project that I've done. I'd never done anything with stunts. I'd never done anything with visual effects before. And I was like, all I know is that I need help. And so I just proceeded. I just started going. And then as I kept going, I started to see, okay, I need help here. Okay, this is, you know, the producing side is taking a lot of my time and energy. Some of these things I could put on somebody else's plate. And as I moved along, I could see, okay, so these are the things I could use help with. And Stephanie and I were actually in an acting class together. And I forget how far along I was in the process, but it was while we were in that class that I realized that I really wanted somebody to help me produce it. And I knew Stephanie because the particular class that we were in, how to explain it, is Sam Christensen. I should just mention who it is. Sam Christensen, if anybody's interested in training with him, this is his last year. He's teaching in North Hollywood. He's moving after that. You can look up his website, samchristensen.com. But the way he teaches is really honing in on specifically you, and, you know, your personality and bringing that out in your acting, because that is, you know, what makes you unique, and that's what makes your brand of acting. So anyways, because of that, I knew how Stephanie was as a person. She's very organized. She can be very, like, I don't want to say like a general, but like she has a very teacher kind of, you know, take the lead and help people, guide people. And so because I could tell what her strengths were, I asked her if she would be interested in helping produce my project. Now, I talk about Stephanie's strengths because that's important. It's not just about you hire a team, but you hire the right people. You can have a team around you, but if you hire somebody that is either not respectful or they're self-focused, which does not work on a team, then it does not. It's detrimental to your project, which was an issue that I ended up having. But with Stephanie, I was like, she's like, that's what I need. I need a Stephanie, and Stephanie was amazing, and she came on board, and she helped me. Now, and I specifically want to talk about that if you are an actor and you're also thinking about producing your own projects, because you just cannot hold everything on your own and have something and not have something fall through the cracks if you're trying to hold it all. It's like, you know, you have so much room in your arms, and you can only hold so much before stuff falls through the cracks. So the more people you have to help you hold it, the easier it's going to be for you. Teamwork makes the dream work. And I'm going to talk about another key piece. Oh wait, before I go on, the other piece of it, as far as having somebody help you produce, if you're an actor that's making your own project, because on set, you have to be able to focus on your acting. You have to be able to. you're inevitably going to get split. You're going to be wearing a lot of hats, especially if you're making a low budget project. Everybody's wearing a lot of hats. But on set, you have to be able to be there and fully embody that performance, and focus solely on that. I can tell you that the first couple takes, even on my film, they will never be shown to anybody. But they were bad. Like, they were bad. I was acting. I was in a fantasy action. It's a fantasy world. I knew everything about the story. I was fully prepared, but there were some things that happened that were just distracting me. The RV had broken down on set, so my producer mind is like, okay, what are we gonna do? Is that gonna whatever? I was distracted and I was taken out. And so the first couple takes, I was distracted. And we did not use those takes. Luckily, I moved myself out of it. And I will say one of the reasons why I was able to move out of it had to do with a second piece of my team, and I would say one of the most important, pieces of your team, which you should all know, is the director. Okay, so my director that I chose, her name was America Young. Now, one of the reasons why, there's so many reasons why America was, I'm so glad that she came on board and why she was perfect for my project. But one of the reasons is because she understood what I was doing. She understood that I was an actor, that I was also producing, I also wrote it, and she had worked with other actors that had created their own projects. So she knew, when she saw me on set having that issue, she understood what was happening. She was able to see that and give me the space that I needed, give me the direction I needed, because she had worked with other actors that had done their own projects before. She's done her own projects before. So that understanding of the director, of what you're doing, it's just, it's amazing. To this day, I'm learning different things that she did. I'm like, oh my gosh, you did that on purpose? like, that's amazing. I loved working with her. And so, but the other piece of it was, how I ended up choosing my director. The first thing that it came down to, was, well, for me, I was looking at people, it's a fantasy action. You need to find somebody that understands what you're trying to do. Somebody that gets the story. And especially if you're an actor that is also producing and writing it, you are invested in the project in a very big way, because you're playing so many roles, especially if you've written something that's close to your heart. Mine was close to my heart, and it's just extremely important that you as the producer and the director have the same vision. You have to hold the same vision, because if you don't, then you guys are going in two different directions. So the way that I chose the director for my team, I put out, ads everywhere, and I was very specific that I wanted a woman to help me tell the story. I wanted a female director. I did, consider some male directors just, to look at all of my options, but I was very clear from the beginning that I wanted a female director, because I knew that would be the best for my story. I interviewed every single one of my directors. And when I did that, I sent them the script. I told them a little bit about the project, shoot dates. First, let's make sure you're available, all of that. But when I sent them the script, I didn't tell them my take on it. And that is because when I did the interview, it was important that without my pushing the person to see it from my perspective, that we were both already holding the same vision for the project. We both had the same perspective on it and wanted it to go the same direction. So I sent the script. The first thing that I did whenever I interviewed the directors is I asked them what their take, like, tell me what you think. Tell me what you see the messages were in here. What did you like about it? What did you see in the story? What did you feel? Just getting their take on it. And there's no right or wrong answers. It's just about getting to know what that director's take on your story would be, because every director is different. And then also just, rapport. I mean, holy crap, like you have to have a good rapport with the director. And that goes really when you're working on a small team. You really have to have a good rapport with everyone if you can, if it's possible, because everybody is working in close quarters, they're working together, you're wearing multiple hats, there's going to be things that happen, you're going to be spending time with these people, so you want to make sure that you want to spend time with these people, and especially for the director, you are going to be working together for a while. You don't, obviously you would love post-production, hopefully, let's say it takes a month or two, who knows. Post-production took longer on my project. And, knowing that America was by my side was so beneficial. If I didn't like working with her or being around her, it's like, oh my gosh, that would be torture. But instead it was a joy. It was just a joy, which goes back to, I'm not focused. Yes, I'm focused on a certain, I want the film to turn out a certain way, but the journey itself of making the film is what I can control. That's what I can, who do I choose to work with? And so that, choosing the right director is so important. So I could talk about probably every single crew position, but I want to move forward with more of, so that was the second thing. That was the second thing that helped my film be a success. Number 1 was passion. Number 2 was hiring a great team. And number 3 is something that is probably not going to be any surprise to you, that is important to me, which I'm really glad that I have my experience as a scriptwriter, because I gave time to develop my script. That, focusing on the story and making sure the story and the script was where it was at, is actually part of how I hired a great team. America Young, she just had her first feature distributed by Stan Lee. She's an amazing person, and I was just so surprised that she wanted to work on my project. And if people are passionate about your story, they see that it's well written, they're going to want to be involved. They'll want to work on it with you. You'll attract the right people. You have a subpar script, and you have people on set that are working for less than they are really worth, you got to make it worth their time. And what makes it worth their time is if you tell a story that means something to them. And so my script, let me see how long. So I had, so my film ended up being 10 minutes. My script was, I think it was 6.5 pages. And to write that 6.5 pages, it took me, I gave myself as much time as I needed. I want to say 3 months. 3 months. Now know also that I was, doing other things. I wasn't just solely, I wasn't every day, sitting with 6 pages, that would be ridiculous. But, I was doing other things. But it took me 3 months to get it to where it needed to be. Where it started was nothing like where it ended up. And I got input on it along the way. I rewrote it until there's a point when you know that it's just about ready. You'll just know. It's never going to be perfect, but you'll get to a point. It's so important. This is why I have a job as a scriptwriter. This is why I have a job as a script consultant. Stories, scripts, and writing is the foundation of every single project. If there were no scripts in this industry, there would be no industry. That is the foundation for every single thing that's out there. Everybody wants a good script. That's why I get to read them and find the good scripts. So if you have a good script, then you are starting from a good place. And I wish I could talk about writing. I could talk about writing forever, but yeah, that's number 3. So number 1 is passion. Number 2 is hiring the right team. Number 3 is giving yourself time to develop the script. And number 4 that I know helped my film be a success, is that I hired the right actors. And I really want to say this, especially for the actors that are trying to, if you want to do your own project, as an actor, you have so many actor friends. Like, we all just know other actors, and it's like, yeah, let's do something, And I've done before Protectors, I've done some other smaller projects, and I think that you can fall into a trap as an actor because you get so excited about just being on screen. You get so excited about the possibility of working with your friends. You guys are going to be on set together. You're going to create something together. It's just like, and when you get to that place, you can lose sight that casting is one of the essential things that makes a project work. Charlotte Bjornbach was the other actress that was in my film. It was very specific what this role needed. The person needed to be able to look a little bit older than me, possibly. She needed to be able to sword fight and pick up sword fighting right away, and she needed to she also needed to have a certain quality where she came across as a little bit masculine and authoritative. There was other actors that were considered for the role, and I was just so eager to film that I did not at first audition people, and that was a mistake. It's just like, yeah, I'm gonna make something, and even if somebody is your friend, you need to audition them, even if they just do a self-tape, whatever. You just need to see them embody that role. All of us have different essences. All of us have different strengths. And once you get somebody that's in that role, it's like anything. It's like any movie you see. Like, when somebody is in a role that they're meant to be in, it's like, oh, yes, I'm so glad that person played that role. Yay, Maria's here. Hi. Maria just saw Infinity War. So she's traumatized at this moment. Maria, I was talking about Infinity War at the beginning of before you joined. So. No spoilers. Yikes. So the other thing that's important is that because I was acting in my own film, I need to have chemistry with the other actor. We had two actors on screen, me and another actor. To be able to hold the attention of the audience with two actors for 10 minutes, you have to have the right chemistry, you have to have the right people embodying the roles. The other piece of it, I knew that I was right for my role because I wrote it for myself. I knew what my strengths were as an actor. I knew what I wanted to play, and I wrote to those strengths, which actually goes back to the last tip I gave about, the thing that made my film be a success was the writing. And that's because I wrote also to my strengths as an actor. And I hired a really good actress, and I can't emphasize that enough. Charlotte is amazing. She's perfect for the role. If you haven't seen the film yet, you can go to the website. It's protectorsfilm.com. Just look at the trailer. She nailed it on every single level. So don't hire your friends. And if you want to hire your friends, make sure that they audition. Just be sure. Because once you get on set, you cannot change anything. You can't get on set and realize, oh crap, this character is supposed to cry, and I didn't even think about that my friend, she has trouble doing this. She has trouble getting into character. Or maybe this person doesn't actually have, they're supposed to embody, this girly girl type of role, but actually my friend doesn't have that feeling about them. They're not a girly girl, and so it's just not working. And then your whole project suffers because the casting wasn't right. So that's the fourth thing that helped my film be a success was that I cast the right actors. And I'm really happy about that. And so with that, it kind of goes with my fifth thing that I wanted to share about what helped my film be a success. And this is really important, and it's really hard for some people. I didn't compromise. it's hard for me too. It's not just hard for some people, it's hard for me too, because it takes you as a producer not tolerating work that is below par. There's so many, I'm thinking of so many like incidents are going through my head, and I'm thinking about which one to share with you, about what I didn't compromise on. But certainly what I just mentioned about hiring the right actor, I didn't compromise on that. And it benefited my project in the end, because I was like, no, the person that is meant to play this role is out there. I know it's very specific, and I'm going to find her. Hi, Guy. I saw you just joined. And so I didn't compromise on that. And I'm going to get into some other things like producery type things, in post-production, that I didn't compromise on, that ended up, just being so important. Do I have, I don't know if I have, so I don't have my postcard around here for Protectress, but, oh wait, I do have something. Let me grab this. If you haven't seen the film, then you might, can you see this? I don't know if you can see this. Can you see the symbol? Can you see the Protector symbol? My dog just sneezed. I don't know if you heard him. Okay, so this is the Protector symbol that I had created for my film. It was important to me. There's many things that are symbolized in my film, and one of the things that I really wanted to represent was the rise of the divine feminine, and that's what this symbol is based off of. I'm trying to get it so you guys can see it without the glare. I don't know if I'm succeeding. I wanted this symbol, I wanted to create a culture around this rise of the divine feminine. This symbol is created off of, it's called the Venus pentagram, because it's the track that Venus takes around the Earth, and it creates a pentagram. And so it represents the rise of the divine feminine, and so it was important to me that this be on everything. Like it's on here, actually. And so, and it was also important to me that the symbol looked how it needed to do. Now, this symbol was created by another award-winning filmmaker who's also a graphic designer, who's just like, she's just such the most kind person that you'll ever meet. Her name is Catherine Michelle. And when she was creating this, there was a certain way that I wanted it to look. And I knew that this symbol was going to be on everything that I saw in my marketing materials, it's on our costumes, it's going to be something that, people are going to see and hopefully recognize as this is the Protectress. And, in that process with her, it was uncomfortable because I felt like I was being nitpicky, but I did not compromise on what I knew that I wanted and needed for it, because I was like, dude, I'm going to be looking at this freaking symbol for I don't know how many years to come, and when I look at it, I want to be proud of it and see it, and I want other people to see it and be like, yes, I feel a certain way, or that looks cool, or whatever, they might think. But for me, it was like, it needs to be a certain way. And that goes back to actually the first thing that I talked about with my film being a success was my passion behind it, because there was a message that I was trying to get across. And so I didn't compromise on the way that it looked. If I had, it's like, oh, that's a little bit off. And I was like, oh, I don't want to say anything. It's just, oh, but it's a little thing. Maybe we shouldn't say something, maybe whatever, And then that's when I was like, I am starting to compromise right now. I need to just tell her, no matter how uncomfortable it is, what I'm looking for and what I want. And that's how I ended up with this. And I love it. And obviously I love showing it to people. So that, and then also, just a couple other things to give you examples of how I didn't compromise in the process is, in post-production, post-production took longer than it needed to. For several reasons, but one of the things that happened was there were some things that happened within the editing process, some technical issues that came up, and, I could have sat back and I could have just said, this is good enough. I want to release the film by now. I can feel the rest of the cast and crew, I can feel other people being impatient, like they wanted to see it by now. You have pressure on you. People, you want to get it done, or maybe you've told people that it's going to be out by a certain point, which is what I did, which you shouldn't do. And I just said, no, I need it. It needs to be something that I'm proud of. When I look at it and I'm like, I won't be like, oh, yeah, there's that one shot that I wish had been this way, or there's that one thing that I wish had whatever. And so post took longer. But there's there's that saying, it's, you can have something fast, cheap, or good. You can have two of those things. You can't have all three. And for me, I had the ability to take the time that I needed. We weren't on a deadline. Hi, Ahmad. We weren't on a deadline, and so I could take that time. So I took it. And because I took it, it helped me be a success. Because when I look at my film, I'm like, I'm so proud of it because I didn't let my own self-doubt or my own, I'm not a confrontational person. I'm just, it wasn't comfortable to compromise. But I'm so glad that I didn't. There's so many steps along the way where I could have. And I'm very proud to say that I didn't on any of it. And so if you've seen my film, hopefully you kind of get that feeling, you can feel the attention to detail that I had with it. So those are the 5 things. There's more, but those are the 5 things I wanted to talk to you about today that helped my film be a success. Number 1 is passion. Number 2 is hiring a great team. Number 3 was giving myself the time to develop a solid, good script. Number 4 was hiring the right actors. And number 5 is not compromising. And I don't know if you can hear that, but my dog is like rolling around and doing things that sound strange. So if you hear that, that's what's happening. Jen is here. Jen, I talked about you at the beginning. I'm going to have to tag you. You're going to have to, whenever this is posted, you're going to have to go back to the beginning because I talked about some advice that you gave me about, making something that you're passionate about, and you're just going to have to go watch it. I'm so glad that you're here. So like I said, those are the 5 things. If there's anything that anybody has questions about anything I said or anything else about filmmaking, especially if you're an actor that's trying to make your own projects, or if you're writing or whatever, producing, I don't care what it is, feel free, just, pop it in the comments. I know many of you are watching this afterwards, or, if you're watching right now, if you have anything you want to ask me, feel free. I'm going to be monitoring the comments after, and I'll answer any questions that you have. But I think it's really important that as filmmakers, after you make something, that you don't look at just what needs to be improved from what you did. That's my doggy. But you look at what you did that was successful, because you need to honor your choices. You need to celebrate yourself. And I made some really good choices, and so those are 5 of the choices that I made. I know, he's yawning. I don't know if I can pick him up to show you. I know, it's okay. That's pretty much it. The other thing I just wanted to mention, as we're kind of wrapping up here, is I've been listening to a really great podcast that I would highly recommend for anybody that's looking to make their own projects, specifically producing. And it's called the Film Method Podcast. It doesn't have any new episodes anymore, but whatever's there is gold. And I've been listening to it. Is done by somebody named Cindy Freeman, and somebody that I know that Jen actually introduced me to. Her name is Jenna Edwards. She's a fantastic producer. She's just a beautiful person. And they give just all of their advice, on their experience producing and creating projects and filmmaking. And I'm getting a lot out of it, so I wanted to recommend that. So it's called Film Method by Cindy Freeman. So if you look it up in iTunes, that's what you need to look for. So that's, you guys, we're done from today. I have to go back to work. I have to write more scripts. I don't want to leave you. I've already read too many scripts today. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Tea with Ke. Next week, right now, it's going to be at the same time, Wednesday, 3 p.m. Pacific. And I say right now because I might have jury duty, which I'm not excited about. So if it changes, then I will, of course, post and let you know if the time changes. But right now, you can expect to see me back here for another episode next Wednesday, 3 o'clock Pacific, and I am going to talk about the flip side of what I just talked about, which is instead of the 5 things that I did that made my film a success. My dog is like rubbing himself on my foot right now. He's trying to get my attention. I'm going to talk about the 5 things that, looking back, I wish I had done with my film that would have made it even better. So come back next week if you want to hear about that. It was so good to share this with you. I hope it was informative. I hope that you got something out of what I talked about, and I hope that you have a good day. I will see you next week.